Hello everyone, I am Dr. P.M. Ardhapurkar, Professor and Head, Mechanical Engineering Department, Mavli Group of Institutions, College of Engineering and Technology, Shegaon. In this video lecture, I would be taking one of the topic of air conditioning, that is psychrometric properties of air. Outline of presentation, I would begin with introduction, then psychrometric properties of air. Finally, I will talk about psychrometric processes. Basically, air conditioning is control of the temperature of air, humidity of air, and the flow rate of air. These are the three important parameters, and it is based on a science called psychrometry. Now, it's all about conditioning the air with, that is, treatment of air, bringing the air to a particular required conditions. We should first understand the atmospheric air. It is considered to be a mixture of dry air and water vapor. The atmospheric air is always a moist air. It has always certain water vapor. The approximate composition of dry air part by volume is given here. It mainly consists of 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, and there are remaining other gases like argon, carbon dioxide, neon, sulfur dioxide, etc. This dry air composition in a moist air or the atmospheric air remains constant, whereas the water vapor part is not fixed. The amount of water vapor present in the moist air, it varies with respect to temperature, and at a temperature range of minus 17.8 degrees centigrade to 37.8 degrees centigrade, it varies in the range from 0.05% by mass. But anyway, we can consider this moist air as a binary mixture of dry air and water vapor during the analysis and calculation of its properties. Since it can be treated as a binary mixture, we can apply a basic law related to mixture of gases, and that is, one is Dalton's law of partial pressure. Let's first understand what is it. Let's say you have a gas which in this cylinder having certain volume V, and let's say there is another gas which is filled, gas B, filled in the another cylinder having same volume of cylinder A and at the same temperature. The pressure exerted by gas A in this cylinder occupying the volume V and the pressure exerted by gas B occupying the same volume V and at same temperature T. These are the individual pressures exerted by gas A and gas B. Let's say it is PA and PB respectively. Now, if I take a third cylinder which has now mixture of gas A and gas B, and it occupies a same volume as the cylinder A and cylinder B, and the mixture is also at same temperature. Then the pressure exerted by this mixture of gas A and B will be equal to pressure exerted by individually gas A and the pressure exerted by gas B, addition of these two. So that is called as a partial pressure exerted by gas A and the partial pressure exerted by gas B. Addition of these two will be a total pressure exerted by mixture of gases A and B. So in general, we can write down as the total pressure will be equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 and so on, depending on the number of gases in the mixture. So in general, for a mixture of gases occupying a given volume at a certain temperature, the total pressure of the mixture is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of the constituents of the mixture. Now we said that the atmospheric air is always a moist air, has always certain moisture, water vapor. So it is considered as a binary mixture of dry air and the water vapor. We can apply this Dalton's law of partial pressure to the binary mixture of air. We can also, this basic principle of mass conservation of principle can be applied to the moist air. So mass of the moist air can be written as mass of dry air plus mass of water vapor, and the Dalton's law of partial pressure applied to moist air will give the equation as atmospheric pressure equal to partial pressure of dry air Pa plus partial pressure of water vapor. The name psychrometry is given to the study of thermodynamic properties of air-water vapor mixtures. It is used extensively to illustrate and analyze the characteristics of various air conditioning processes and cycles. Now, having understood the basics of psychrometry, we will now go through the different terms which are widely used in the theory of psychrometry. You know, as I said, that atmospheric air is a mixture of dry air and water vapor. Air contains water vapor always. Air at a particular temperature can have a maximum possible mixture into it, and that air is called as a saturated air. That means the saturated air cannot hold any further moisture into it, and if the air is saturated, then the partial pressure exerted by water vapor will be a maximum pressure denoted as PVS, and in that case the air is called as 100% saturated mixture. In general, a moist air may not contain 100% moisture which air can possess. So that means air can be at the most a saturated air, or it can be unsaturated air. Again repeat that saturated air is containing maximum possible water vapor at a particular temperature, and the pressure corresponding to that will be also maximum. Otherwise, air will be always unsaturated air. That means unsaturated air doesn't have the maximum water vapor into it at a particular temperature. In other words, you can add further moisture into unsaturated air, and you can go on increasing the partial pressure exerted by the water vapor. Now coming to the other terms, one is dry bulb temperature. It is the actual temperature of a gas or mixture of gases indicated by an error-free temperature measuring device. So dry bulb temperature of atmospheric air is the temperature indicated by ordinary thermometer. There is another temperature term, that is wet bulb temperature. It is defined as the temperature obtained by an accurate thermometer having a weak moistened with distilled water. What does it mean? If you take an ordinary thermometer and the sensing bulb of the thermometer, if it is covered fully by wet cloth, and then with such a thermometer, if you measure the temperature of atmospheric air, this temperature recorded by such thermometer having wick over that will be different than the temperature measured by ordinary thermometer, that means dry bulb temperature. So, wet bulb temperature and the dry bulb temperature will be different if the air is specifically unsaturated, which is generally the case. Now, why the wet bulb temperature will be different than the dry bulb temperature, whether it will be less than the dry bulb temperature or greater than dry bulb temperature, that we will see later on. The equipment used for measuring dry bulb temperature and wet bulb temperature, that is DBT and WBT simultaneously, is known as psychrometer. You can see here the picture for this. This is ordinary thermometer, and the bulb of this thermometer is covered by wick, wet cloth, which is deep into a liquid water, because there will be evaporation of water from this wick. So, to compensate that loss of water, it is deep into the water bath. Now, the temperature recorded by such thermometer is referred as WBT, wet bulb temperature, whereas the temperature recorded by a dry bulb ordinary thermometer, that is called as a dry bulb thermometer. You can see here there are both side by side, and this is called as a sling psychrometer. There is another third temperature term which commonly came into picture in the discussion of the thermodynamic properties of atmospheric air, that is a dew point temperature. It is the temperature at which the liquid droplets just appear when the moist air is cooled continuously. That means if you take any cold surface and over that if you pass the air, and by that way you are cooling the air, and the temperature of the cold surface, if it is decreased, so cooling will be also there for the air. At certain temperature of the cold surface, the water vapor which are present in the air will get transferred into the liquid droplets. That means the condensation process will begin. So, that temperature where the first liquid droplet just appear on the cold surface while cooling the air, it is called as a dew point temperature. Now, coming to the humidity terms, one is humidity ratio, or alternatively called as a specific humidity. It is denoted by W. It is simply as the ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air. That means it gives you the comparison, relative comparison of mass of water vapor with the mass of dry air. We said that the atmospheric air is a mixture of water vapor and dry air. So, how much mass of water vapor is there per kg of dry air? So, unit of this humidity ratio or the specific humidity is kg per kg of dry air. This humidity ratio can be calculated as, since it is ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air, we can calculate it by applying the basic ideal gas equation for water vapor part and for dry air part, as well as applying Dalton's law of partial pressures. By ideal gas equation, the partial pressure of water vapor into volume is equal to mass of water vapor multiplied by the specific gas constant for the water vapor multiplied by temperature. From this I can get mass of water vapor as Pw into volume divided by Rw into temperature T. Similarly, apply ideal gas equation to the drier part, and from that you can obtain the mass of dryer as Pa into volume divided by Ra into temperature T. Now put this mass of water vapor and mass of dryer obtained by these equations into the basic definition of humidity ratio and simplify it. So humidity ratio, as we know, it is mass of water vapor to the mass of dryer, and these mass of water vapor and dryer are replaced by these expressions. Here volume V and temperature T is same for both water vapor part and the dryer part, so it will get cancelled and you will finally get the equation for specific humidity or humidity ratio as the Ra upon Rw multiplied by the ratio of partial pressures of water vapor and partial pressure of dry air. And you know the value of these gas constants. For dry air, the value of this gas constant is 0.287, whereas for water vapor it is 0.461 multiplied by ratio of partial pressure of water vapor to the partial pressure of dry air. And simplify these numerical values and we will get as specific humidity is equal to 0.622 multiplied by ratio of partial pressure of water vapor to the partial pressure of dry air. Alternatively, this expression for the humidity ratio can be obtained by these basics. You know, universal gas constant Rho divided by m, capital M, that is a molecular weight of gas, is the specific gas constant R. So from this expression, from this relation, you can obtain the specific this Rho as Rho by M as R. Okay, so apply here. Ra is the specific gas constant for the dryer and Rv is the specific gas constant for the water vapor. So Ra is obtained by this expression, that is Rho upon molecular weight of dryer. Similarly, Rv is universal gas constant divided by molecular weight of water vapor. The universal gas constant Rho here is 8314.3 joule per kg Kelvin divided by, put the molecular weights of dryer and the water vapor, it will come out as, because Rho otherwise will get cancelled, so it is the ratio of molecular weight of water vapor to the molecular weight of dryer multiplied by ratio of these partial pressures. So it will be 18 by 28.97. If you simplify this, you will arrive at the same equation for the humidity ratio, that is 0.622 multiplied by Pw upon Pa. Now, as I said, this Ra and Rw, the specific gas constants for air and water vapor respectively, you have this expression with you. Pw is water vapor partial pressure. You know Dalton's law of partial pressure, that is P atmospheric is equal to addition of Pa plus Pw. So from that I can replace this Pa, partial pressure of dryer, as P atmospheric minus Pw. So this equation is in terms of partial pressure of water vapor and the atmospheric pressure. and you know atmospheric pressure is almost constant. So we can say that the humidity ratio is a function of only this parameter, that is Pw, partial pressure of water vapor, since P atmospheric is constant. The other humidity term is absolute humidity. It is defined as the mass of water vapor present in 1 meter cube of dry air, and it is expressed in terms of gram per meter cube of dry air. Coming to the relative humidity definition, the amount of water vapor in the air compared to what could be in the air if it is saturated. That means, in other words, it is the ratio of amount of water vapor in the air divided by the amount of water vapor if the air is saturated. And you know, when the air is saturated, it possesses maximum possible water vapor into it, that is saturated air, and it will exert a maximum pressure too. So that means it compares the water vapor mass in an unsaturated air to the mass of water vapor in a saturated air. So mass of water vapor in a saturated air is taken as reference to measure the water vapor present in the unsaturated air, provided the temperature and pressure conditions are same. So here the definition of relative humidity as phi is given. The numerator is actual mass of water vapor in a given volume of moist air at a temperature T and pressure P, divided by mass of water vapor in the same volume of saturated air at same temperature and pressure. So it is mW upon ms. If we apply ideal gas equations, then relative humidity expression can be obtained. Ideal gas equation for water vapor and for the saturated part of water vapor is written here, and from we can find out mW and ms. mW and ms. So ratio of mW upon ms is your relative humidity. Now if you put this mW upon ms obtained by these two equations, mW will be equal to Pw into V divided by Rw and temperature T. Similarly for ms, so that the volume V, temperature T, Rw will get cancelled, so it will be only ratio of Pw upon Ps. That means you have now the alternative definition of relative humidity. Earlier we defined as it is a ratio of mass of water vapor in an unsaturated air to the mass of water vapor in a saturated air at same temperature and pressure condition. Here we arrived at this expression for the relative humidity as ratio of partial pressure of water vapor if the air is unsaturated divided by a partial pressure of a saturated air, which is maximum pressure exerted by the water vapor.